Hi friends, welcome to WebChamp. In this video, I'm going to discuss few important advanced Excel formulas that formulas you can use while creating a dashboards in Excel. So these formulas are very important and these formulas got added recently in Office 365. So what I can do, I can open one of the Excel file, and let's say if you are working as a data analyst and you might need to create a dashboard in Excel, in that case, definitely you need these formulas. So let's see how these formulas are work. Okay. So this is your data set. So if I select the entire data set and convert it to the table, so this is how it will look, right? So in total, I have 21 columns of data, which is the invoice date, then make, then country name, is dealer or not, then sales price, cost of price, then total discount, and then delivery charges, and then spare parts, then the labor cost. So all these categories are mentioned here. Then who has purchased this car, meaning this model, okay. Then color of the vehicle, then reporting year, then reporting month, and then registration date. So all the information is available here inside this data set to perform the analysis on these data sets. Okay. Our interest is to see how the advanced Excel formula, what kind of advanced Excel formulas we are going to see here. If you go to the lookup and reference functions, so if you see here, there is something called choose columns, choose rows. Okay. So this is the function. Then we have something called drop. Then filter is there. Okay. Then H stack, V stack is there. Then indirect is again one of the important function. Then we have sort and sort by, and then take, and then two column, two rows. So lots of functions are already added in the Excel, and that those functions are very much important with respect to creating a creating a dashboard. Okay. So my requirement is that, see here you have a data set. This is what it is. So or whatever the list of functions I called sometime before, so all those functions are called dynamic array functions. Okay. So those functions are going to return as a table. Okay. So at very first place, let's say I wanted to filter the data. Okay. I'm not going to filter the data from applying the filter and all. So I will use filter function. Okay. So here, let's say I wanted to filter the data only for the France. Country is equal to France. Then what I will do, I will say is equal to. Okay. Is equals to. Then I'll say filter. Okay. Then array name is your table name. So what is the table name? So I think I'll say table one. Table one is table name. Let's say if you want to give the name, customized name to the table, you can go here and you can say, instead of table one, I will say cars. Okay, this is what my table name. Fine. Now I can refer that name here in the filter. Okay, so filter, then I'll say cars. Okay, you can here even you can see that it is giving me the suggestion. Then include what to include. So you are supposed to give the condition here. Okay, so give the name of column. What will be the name of column? So I'll say country. So let's consider this cars. And if I open the square bracket, you will get the list of all these. So here I would like to select the country name column. Okay. So country name column I selected, right? And is equal to, I suppose to say France. So whatever the data I get here, you can see that I only get the data for the France only. So how many rows are there? If I show you the number of rows, So 40 rows are there. If I go to the data and if I apply the filter, the way we can apply the filter here and take the count, similarly, it will work, but that is through the formulas. And even you can see that 40 out of 457 records, right? So 40 rows we are getting for the France country, right? So this is the dynamic array formula, the formula called filter. And this is the advanced Excel formula. Let's say, okay, not from here. Right. So here you will not get headers using this formula. If you want to get the headers, you can copy the headers and then paste there. Okay, if you want, otherwise, not required. So let's say if you want to take the sum of sales price. Okay, sum of sales price. So what you can do, you can keep this column only, but how to keep the column? Okay, so let's take the index. This is the first column, this is the second column, this is third column, fourth and fifth column is my sales price column. So here, what I can do is I can use choose column function. So I'm going to keep the only one function. Okay, so this filter function is going to return me a array meaning the table. Column number is fifth. Okay, this is what the only column I want, right? And 2, 5, 2, 4, 5, 10 is my sum of sales price for the France country. For the France country, because here our data is getting filtered for the France only, and on top of that, I'm performing the sum. So how to perform the sum? So here you can perform the sum. So same thing we can achieve with the help of sum if also. Right? If I use the sum if, but yes, so there are a couple of ways to reach there. So if I say sum of, okay, so range is, I'll say cars. Obviously, we can put the table name as a range, as an array, and criteria is, let's say, again cars, then open the square bracket and then select the country name. Okay, so here close the bracket and condition is this France. Right. So this is what my condition. Okay, so this is returning me a array of, okay, all country name. Okay, some range I did not mention, that's why it is giving me the 0. Okay, so I'll say, okay, so range of criteria. So criteria meaning here I supposed to put the add the rate country name. Okay, so this is the range of criteria, and then this is the criteria, and here I'll say again cars of add the rate sales price. Okay, so we might need to give the range, but this is not working in this way. Okay, so here if I say is equal to sum if, then if I come here and this is the range, okay, it has automatically selected comma. Okay, I made a mistake, like here as a France. I should not give the Boolean expression. Here I should say France and then sum of range. So this is what the range. Okay. So we are getting the same number. Right. What will happen if I add the rate? It will work. Then add the rate. Okay. So add the rate is this, add the rate is going to give us a problem. Okay. So when to use at the rate? When you have to consider the entire column, and if your column is numerical, and if you want to take the sum of that or average of that, so in that case, this what I can say, this at the rate can be used. If you want to go row by row, you should not use this, because aggregation, if you want to aggregate the value on any specific column, at the rate will work. So here we are summarizing the value. That's why it is fine that if we use at the rate, it will perform the operation on the entire column. But if you want to do the, or if you want to execute the conditional expression by row, you should not use at the rate. Okay. So this is how filter function and choose and then sum together we can use instead of sum ifs. Right. Similarly, you can try for the count if, and also see just here you need to change the function. Right. Then let's say instead of the sum and all, if I remove, if I want to select any specific row, okay, this is not required and correction accepted. Fine. So if you want to select the number of rows, so you can use choose row function also. If I say choose rows, then this is what my array, and you can enter the row number. Let's say I want to get the row number. So if you want to pass the list of row numbers, you can pass here also. Like this, for 5 rows, it will return us a 5 rows. Look, let me try to pass this inside the curly bracket. What will happen? Let's see. Okay. In this way also it will work. Okay, this is the way to pass the array. This is the array for Excel. You can pass comma separated values, or you can pass the list of numbers. So this is going to represent a row number. This should not be in sequence. Okay, let's say I want to get this data 11, then 21, and then 30, and then 35. These many rows I want. So accordingly, it will return us a number of, meaning row number, data from the specific row number. So this is how choose rows will work. Okay, let me come back. Let's say here you may want to sort the data. So what you can do, you can sort the data. I'll say sort. This is what the array, and then sort index you can pass. Okay. Sort index. So let's say sort index, meaning on which column you are supposed to sort the data. Okay, let's say this is what the, on the basis of fifth. Then I'll say in the descending order. So I will enter -1. Okay. Then true or false. So by column, I don't want to sort data. By row, I want to sort the data. So I will put the 0 here. Okay. And here you can see that based on this column H, my data is sorted. So highest value comes on the top, lowest value comes on the bottom side. Okay. So this is how it works. Even this is for only for the France. This is fine. Okay. To see the effect, how we can perform the sorting. So here, sort index, you are supposed to pass the sort index is a column index number, and then sort order is ascending or descending. So you can pass the number, whatever will be the number there. So if you pass 1, it will sort the data by ascending order. If you pass -1, it will sort the data in descending order. Then next is how you want to sort, by column or by rows. So obviously I want to sort the data by rows, not by column. Right. So I entered 0 there. Right. So this is how this sort function works. Let's say now if you want to consider only top 10 records out of this array. Okay, what I can do, I can simply say use the take function, and I will say this is what my array, and out of this I want only a 5 row, top 5 rows. you are getting the top 5 rows. Okay. Then if I say top 10, okay, this will work. Let's say if you want to get the data from bottom side, you can sort the data in ascending order, and then you will get the data from bottom side also. Okay. So ascending, based on the ascending order, meaning the sorting order, you will be able to get the top n values records or bottom n values records. Okay. Then there is something called drop function. So how to use the drop function? Okay. So drop and take is very much similar. Take is used to uh, take those number of rows. Drop is used to skip those many number of rows. So let's say if I want to drop the, let's say 5 rows or 5, yes, 5 rows meaning 29,750 value. Okay, so these many 5 rows I want to, first 5 rows I want to skip. I will say 5. Then if you want to skip the columns, you can skip the columns. Okay. So I will say I wanted to keep the only 5 columns. Okay. This is how. Okay. It got truncated. Okay. So sorry, not to keep 5 columns, to skip 5 columns from starting. Okay. This is what I don't want. So I will say 0. So now this will work. So if I add the number, let's say here, see, you can see the formula in all the places, but formula is available for editing purpose only in a first cell where you have started writing the formula. So here, if I say 1, it will trim out the invoice date from me. Meaning, so one column. You can use drop function to skip the number of rows and to skip the number of columns from left side. Okay. This is how it works. So if you want to keep a few columns, so you can say choose column, and this is what my array, and here you can pass the list of column numbers. So I will say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it will keep only 5 columns, right? This is how you can perform the kind of data modification in Excel. So this is all about the advanced Excel formulas in Excel. So you can sort the data, you can filter the data, you can select the number of rows, you can select the columns, you can drop the number of rows, you can keep the number of rows from top side, bottom side. Okay. So these kind of operations you can perform with the help of formulas also. And those formulas are recently added in Office 365. I hope you like the content of this video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a nice day and happy learning.